to my, one generation before, folks, family, parents, and so on. That time, getting a government job was the biggest aspiration. In my time, the biggest aspiration, get an IT job, right? But increasingly, and I think it's still my generation only, but I think there's a rapid shift happening where people want to be entrepreneur first, right? My mom for a long time used to be concerned, saying, what are you doing? Why are you doing entrepreneurship? We live in a country in 2016 when Startup India started. Honorable Prime Minister said a lot of times when when I was listening to Ritesh, I was thinking that instead of being a tea seller, I should have started a hotel. Now, he didn't have to say it, but for like that makes a huge difference in every family in our nation, saying that maybe an entrepreneurship is a good career for people to pursue. So I think that's one. I'm very thankful for the love from other entrepreneurs, communities, new entrepreneurs who are pursuing their businesses, our customers, broader communities is just incredible. And I feel that criticism, thoda bahut, is fine. Second is, I think critical feedback is also very valuable for us to learn. Usme na hum log, we are very smart, in at least we feel so. Sabko apne aap ko lagta hai hum smart hai, but humko lagta hai ki we are able to differentiate noise and signal. Kai baar critical feedback अच्छी भी होती है. 2 साल पहले, 2 years back, we had some owner issues with us, which was real. And, we took feedback and were able to improve. For example, we used to pay out our owners once a month. Now we pay them twice a week. That came because of some criticism we got. So we don't mind criticism which comes with signal. There is some noise that will always be there. We have, increasingly it affects us, of course. But, over time, we've learned to try and make the effort lesser as possible. So I think that's sort of how I think. So keep your friends close, keep your critiques closer is my learning over the years.
Ritesh, this summit is a unicorn summit, BW Businessworld, BW Disrupt Unicorn Summit. Now, Uber scaling up, scaling up fast has become a way to build unicorns, has become a way to build businesses that are both profitable and valuable. How do you scale up? What is your advice to people whose businesses are stuck at a certain level? How do we break through and scale up?
I think this is a discussion that I can go on for days, because we've made quite a few good decisions, but we've also made few mistakes in this process. So I can go on for long, but I'll try to keep it as concise as possible. I think sabse pehle the critical question is, why scale? There's some businesses who don't want to scale and some businesses who want to scale. So you should decide upfront whether you want to scale your business in the first place or not. Sorry about that. So I think, and in that, of course, each person has their own choice. But the decision to scale for us came from a very simple perspective. That is, what inspires me to come to work every day, what inspires my colleagues to come every day, is that we all want to make large scale impact. Right? Our lifestyles have not changed very dramatically between when we started the business now, or it will not change in the future. We're the same people. But building Oyo was unique because we felt that isse hum log bahut bada difference create kar payenge. We'll have large number of people jinko Oyo impact karega. And hence scale was natural for us. We cared about scale. But other entrepreneurs are very different. One of the entrepreneurs that I know says that mujhe nahi karna scale. I want to build my little business who impacts a local area. I want to build the best honey in my town, sell it to people in the nearby locations, and it's a good business. You can be successful doing that as well. But if you do decide that you want to scale, there are a few things that we've learned, and I'll share some stories about it as well. The first one is scale about geography. We started in Gurgaon, and then we scaled nationally. My colleague, in fact, who launched over 100 cities is here somewhere, our Chief Growth Officer. He's been here with Oyo for over 6 years. So, we started with one city. We went from Gurgaon to Delhi. So I'll tell you very interesting. The first hotel owner said, "Aap to Gurgaon company ho, Delhi is different. Okay, you're a Gurgaon company, but Delhi is different." Next city we came was Bengaluru. Our first hotel was in Brigade Road. Our owner said, You're a North company. Bengaluru is different. I said, okay. Then Bangalore became successful. After Delhi, Bangalore also became successful. Then we went to Goa. In Goa, people said, you are an urban city company. Goa is leisure. Goa is different. So we learned about Goa and tried to make that successful. Then we went to Shimla. In Shimla, people said, you are an urban and beach town company. Hills are different. Abhi ye sab to India tha. Then we first went to Kuala Lumpur. In Kuala Lumpur, people said, you're an India company. Kuala Lumpur is different. So we said, okay, now we run thousands of hotels there. Then we went to UK, Europe. They said, you're an Asia company. Europe is different. Then we went to US, and in US, people said, you have never been to the Northern Hemisphere. The hemisphere is different. So what I've realized over time is that scale may the first reaction people would have around yourself is that for some reason, why does your scale not make sense? And again, you have to distribute the noise from the signals. Signal is, we were always curious, ki how is it different? Kuch sachai bhi thi usme. There are differences in all these markets, right? We used all those learning to improve our product. We almost built that as like a product pipeline, saying whatever learning we're getting, we'll build it in our pipeline as a new product. In Goa, people wanted children area as an access. In Bengaluru, the breakfast choices were different for our users. In Kuala Lumpur, Kuala Lumpur city versus Johor and Penang had very different use cases for customers. We learned from it. So we use that as a learning rather than to get scared and not to be able to build. In some places we failed also. We were not successful in some places, but like I said, you win some, you lose some, but you have to win more than you lose is what we did. And now we're of course just going after the places we go. So one, don't get disheartened when you're trying to scale. Be perseverant. Second, try to have a playbook. What's a playbook? A playbook is a simple document by which whatever you have done 1 or 2 times and can be repeated without much changes every time. Because you alone can't scale, right? Technology and people are the only 2 ways to scale. So if you have a playbook, so you can continue repeating your business over and over again, right? Playbook is a second one, and it doesn't just apply to business. You may be running an NGO, you may be running a big campaign. In each one of these, having a playbook, I'm sure you have a playbook as you do hundreds of franchise across the country in the nation. And the last but not the least is good talent. Good talent, technology can only do so much. Good people, nothing else can replace. So I've been very lucky that we've had great people who sometimes I feel are more committed to the OYO cause than myself also, which is very inspiring to me. And be close to them. Don't ever alienate yourself from your last mile people. Be very close to them so you can learn from them constantly. There is no, I have no qualm in saying that one of my core competencies is that I'm very close to our front office manager, our last mile hotel managers, revenue leads, relationship managers, and I learn as much as I can from them, and that becomes our product market, right? I have to do more. I keep reminding myself. So these are my big picture learnings to scale up, and scale up doesn't require a lot of money unless you want to scale to hundreds of cities in 1 year. If you want to scale few cities every year, that can be done just with these 3 things, right? And reinvesting a part of your income.
Well, thank you, Ritesh, for that playbook and those very specific examples. Now, let me ask you about
go back to the sea.
Up on the nets.
Sorry?
They say when the sea has a storm, the fishermen don't go to sleep. They sharpen their nets.
Absolutely. So for last 2 years in our seas of travel business, there was storm. So we sharpened our nets. We improved our product in many interesting ways, which I hope that in the next 2 years will make positive difference. So a few things that I'm very excited about are the following. So the first is consumers increasingly, as we have a brand called Oyo Townhouse. A lot of our customers have increasingly moved towards choosing Oyo Townhouse. They really like the product or the service and so on. So we are very invested in increasing the number of Oyo Townhouse in the form of choices. And while everything is becoming more expensive, we are constantly thinking, how can we not just keep the price the same, but can we find ways of reducing it a little bit as well? While the occupancies are growing so much, by means of improving our cost structure in those hotels in order to get customers to have better price point. And the reason I believe, it defies economic logic, typically the way we think about pricing. But the reason why we keep it is because repeat is the core of our business, right? More than 70% of our business comes from our repeat customers. So we want our customers to know that Oyo will provide us the absolute best experience at the right price. And if something wrong happens, there is somebody in the service, or, I get a lot of personal messages or on Twitter, people tag me. But right from me to somebody in the team will take care of them instantly in order to make sure that we can ensure that they have an improved experience. So I think first is expanding choice with attractive prices is one thing that we're very focused on. Second, we're focused on new user segments. I have been talking a little bit about pilgrimage recently.
Spiritual tourism.
Of other places across the country, and just the amount of consumer choices moving towards spiritual tourism and the resilience in COVID time, right? Like in COVID time, whenever the temples were open, these towns still had full traffic. People were still wanting to go as much as the acceptable capacity was for people to visit. So we're going to be investing there. We are doing a lot more of family-based focus. A lot of people who started using Oyo have now become parents with little children, like young kids. So we are investing in sort of free pricing for children below 6 years, children's play area in sort of the leisure hotels. So family-based segment is a big part of our focus. Rewarding loyalty. Look, repeat is our biggest business, as I said, and it is growing. So we launched Wizard Plus recently, where every 5 nights you stay with Oyo in a year, we give you a night free. Or for example, we brought Guest Plus if you stay with. So we want to make loyalty more rewarding. We want customers to say that, why did I stay for just 6 nights in a year? Why not 8? Why not 10? Why not 12? So these are a few things that we are invested in. And on the hotel owners side, we are working with them to reinvest and upgrade the facilities constantly so that our consumers can have better service. So big picture, sir, the big takeaway is that travel across India will probably see 2 of their best years in the next 2 years. As that happens, Oyo, as one of the preeminent companies in the segment of travel, we believe that we will lead the path not just in innovating, but also in impacting as many users, which, like I told you, enthuses me and my colleagues a lot. So that's what is my belief in the next 12 to 18 months. But at the same time, and because we are on file, I can't share financials yet, but you will see more results. You will see that our margins, operating bottom line will also demonstrate very healthy improvement with more consumers, more business, more service quality improvement as well. So we are hoping to bring growth and bottom line at the same time in the next 12 to 18 months is what our.
Will we see an IPO from Oyo in the next month?
I think, sir, as you know, we are on file. We filed our DRHP with the regulator. I think at this point of time, we are at a place where we believe that the business has dramatically transformed from the results that we had filed with. So we would like to file newer results in the future and then consider a potential offering, of course, with the market situation.
My last question before I bring in some audience questions. There are many entrepreneurs in the room. My last question to you is, Ritesh, what do you think about on a daily basis? Of course, you think about growing OYO, growing the entrepreneurial ecosystem, but what are the things that you think about beyond work? What is the typical things that you are concerned about? How do you spend your daily day? Because there are demands on your time to speak at conferences. Ritesh is also a fellow board member at my alma mater, MDI. So he's in demand. He was the IDBI nominee on the MDI board. He's the youngest board member there. And people wanting your time to invest in companies, people wanting your mentoring time. You have a family. Your brother got married recently. So what is a typical day and what do you think of? I'm not going to ask you when are you getting married and all. I don't ask such questions to young people. Okay.
So first off, I think I get the direction of your question, which is beyond OYO. What are the topics that interest me? I think there are quite a few, but let me try and sort of limit them and share some. I think I'm very fascinated by Indian companies being started in India and becoming global. If you look at our country's rise in the last few years, it is unprecedented. Today, India in a global stage is at a place where absolutely any big global change that happens, you will not just find India there, you will find India setting the agenda in those places, whether it is COP26, whether it is India's commitment on AI, ML, world trade, and so on. I think that will not just happen with the government, it will also happen with entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who would want to say that we will build great global companies being built from Bengaluru, from Gurgaon, from Mumbai, from Chennai, from Hyderabad, and various places in the country. And I always think about how do we build enduring large-scale consumer brands from India. Today, if you drive around Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, London, it's impossible to miss an OYO hotel. How do we have many consumer brands who try and do that? Because it's easy to get a Swiss chocolate or a Swiss watch in the 30th town in India, but not the other way around to get an Indian consumer brand in the 30th or the 40th town in one of these countries. And I think that is something that I'm very fascinated about. I'm personally, of course, living the impact there, but I'd like to make sure that is there a way that there can be more successful, large impact companies? And there is a lot that's happening already. You can see there's a lot of Indian companies that are making a positive difference, not just now, even in the past, right? Look at, Bharat Forge, all the IT companies, they've all started back in the day and they have created big impact and global impact. But I believe that there is so much more we can do. Second thing that I think fascinates me is the opportunity of supporting young entrepreneurs building businesses. I don't know if folks from Zareen are here, but they're there. So we started a program in Naropa Fellowship where we support entrepreneurs in the hills, right? In Jammu and Kashmir, in Himachal, who are setting up businesses as equity-free grants we would provide. So we provided some grant to a trout fishing company, somebody who's selling Kashmiri yarn and products. And they've all become so successful. One of the companies is Zareen, but there are many. There's the Himalayan chocolate and few others which are all doing very well.
I always send you my investing company products. You never send me. Send me some. I had to buy chocolate last night and eat. Do send me the Himalayan chocolate.
Did I not give you the Kashmiri box? No, I haven't. So sorry about that. Okay. I'll make sure I send all of those with interest, which is slightly higher than usual. And the last thing is, I think I'm very fascinated about the cause of animals. I believe that they play a big part in just sustenance of our ecosystem, and just doing more to be able to support. I have not done anything there to be properly honest. I think in global expansion, I try to speak to every entrepreneur in India wanting to scale, and I have over the last 2 years, at least 10 companies have gone global. In entrepreneurship, I try to support as many companies and entrepreneurs I can. But in animal, I think that's an area that I'm very fascinated about, but I have not been able to do a lot there.
And I must say that, and life is our abundance. I have 2 children. My daughter is now 18. My son is almost 14. And my daughter, when she was 14, we enrolled her for the Thai Young Business Plan competition, and it did kind of do wonders to her exposure and her confidence and to her. I remember I used to take her at 8 a.m. on Sunday for the first class. And she said, clearly, Papa, you don't like me because you're waking me up at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning when I sleep. But by the third class, she was looking forward to going to the class. She wrote a book and she's done okay. And then I thought of something called the Prodigy Club, which is entrepreneurs under 20. I don't want to call it 20 under 20. That's because I don't want to define a number, whether we'll get 8, 10, 15, 20, we don't have to be 20. And, for 6 months, I didn't launch it because I said the only person in my knowledge who should be chairing the jury is Ritesh. And about 4 weeks back, I requested Ritesh to be the jury chair for the BW Disrupt Prodigy Club, which is primarily 20 under 20, but we don't call it. So, you can spread the word. And now let me bring in questions. While I go to him with ideas, last I went to him about, 2 of the companies that I'm involved with, Beanly and IWM.
Yes.
I mentioned to him and I shared very much detail, and I keep bothering him, but I get a lot of warmth and affection. I know humongous amounts of people, but I think Ritesh is special. That's how I always treat him, whether I do things with him or not do things with him. So you have the opportunity. We'll get this gentleman here and then tell us what your name is. Can you get him a mic? Prashant, you can take my mic. First the person with hair and the one with the brains later. First the one with the hair and brains both. Mike. Alphabetically, who's alphabetically first? Okay.
That's me. Yeah, okay.
I always insist. My name is Anurag Batra. So everything alphabetically.
Okay. So I'm Gaurav, co-founder of Slapso. So that's Vignesh, co-founder of Slapso. So there's no question from our side. We just want to let you know that you're an inspiration to us. We just won Startup Karnataka, and then the days when we were not winning anything and we didn't have funds and we were cracking our brains to what to do, what not to do, we used to check out your videos and it used to inspire us to say, just keep moving. So we have nothing to say. We just are inspired and awed by the presence of you here. So, yeah.
I started my entrepreneurial journey with your video. Like the first video was I am video, like which you spoke about your whole journey. That was the spark which
the one from IMA, is it?
Yeah, I am Ahmedabad. That was the first video which I watched in college.
So, thank you so much.
Don't blame everything on Ritesh. I want to some of you shouldn't blame everything on Ritesh.
I do this conference once, I do only one in 2-3 months, but the only reason I do this is, of course, partly for my friendship, but also most importantly for, I hope that, this is the only reason I'd invest in doing that, is so that people can see it and be enthused to build successful companies. I hope some of you are more successful than our business over time. So I can be very proud.
And what does the company do? What does the company do?
So we are a SaaS platform for all the construction community. So we give them all the project pitching and all those.
And is Ritesh better or Gaurav better? Okay. Thank you. Good. Thank you for that input. So first, that boy who's 9th September born, I met him yesterday. I've forgotten his name, but I remember his birthday. Go ahead. So the gentleman behind. Yes.
Hi, sir. My name is Sagar. I'm 21 and I'm working on a few startups. One of the startups that I built with my friend was workfromvacations.com. In lockdown, there was a need for vacations for all these. We did it like B2B. We started connecting with companies like Infosys. They can work basically from anywhere across India. They can buy one seat and they can basically work from anywhere across India. They can travel and work. So what is your thought on it, sir, on the idea?
See, vacations is a very, interesting concept. Increasingly, you see most companies, rarely companies going back to mandatory work. Most companies are in hybrid work format as we speak. And I think that allows for opportunities of work from anywhere. And a lot of companies have gone remote only forever.
Yeah.
So I think due to that, work from anywhere is a big opportunity, especially in jobs which can allow this. And a lot of people have tried doing that during COVID. So I think it's a growing market and one to be invested in. And, I think you've tried B2B, but you will see a lot of benefit in B2C as well in this, is what I believe. So I think it's a great opportunity and one to be pursued.
Yes, sir. So we are looking to raise some funds. Actually,
Where's the checkbook? It's in the bag. Why don't we get Ritesh's bag?
sir, actually, we are running out of funds. So we actually pitched it to some all India competitions. We won there as well. But the investors were like, you're very young. I'm 21, so they didn't trust me. Yeah.
No problem.
Please write to me. I'll be in conflict because I can't invest in travel business. But
I'm sorry. Okay.
I can ask OYO folks to take a look. So I will
Yes, sir,
ask
definitely.
them.
We
Please write to
can,
me, I'll give you my card.
I have a thorough research on it done. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The gentleman here wanted to, then I'll come to you. That's why I've kept enough time. We'll bring both of you.
Ritesh, do you plan to go public and get listed, or what is
He
your
said
plan?
yes. They filed a DHRP, which they'll file because the numbers have revised upward multiple times. So they'll file again. That's what he said.
When do you expect it's likely to be through?
When will Putin stop the war? You know, the 3 months after that.
Yeah, great. It is under.
In the journey, sir. Hopefully
Okay.
soon.
Yeah, I
Hopefully
mean,
soon.
you don't have to have a rocket science, but yes, they will file an IPO. They did file a DHRP, but their numbers have hugely improved. So it's like they'll, as he said, can't talk much about it, but yes. We'll come to you, ma'am. Yes,
Ritesh.
go ahead. What's your name and what do you do?
Hi, Ritesh, good morning. This is Balaji here, founder and game changer for Naya Gadi.
Yes, Balaji.
Yeah.
Naya Gadi.
We resemble so many
30th
things.
July born, right?
Thank you so much.
I met you at.
Well, I shared my date of birth yesterday when I met you.
I slept well.
Thank you. Ritesh, so much to thank you. Naya Gadi is a multi-brand electric vehicle experience for small towns and rural market. And we have benefited a lot from OYO. This is my public officially on record. When we see OYO, everybody hotels, just think about OYO. And when we think electric vehicle, we want Naya Gadi to be. It's Naya Gadi. We picked up your numbering from OYO strategy. So if you see our store, we put Naya Gadi store 001. So anywhere you search, you should go. So thank you.
The e-vehicle stores for Bharat.
Yeah. And we traveled 40,000 kilometers in the last 2 years of Corona time in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, every rural mandal level. And I owe you so much. Every time we go, we stay in OYO. We stay in OYO at a lowest price. We are not funded, bootstrapped. So we have spent so much on OYO. We have spent so much on petrol and diesel. So petrol and diesel ROI I have to pick up.
We get you.
Your schemes, right? The branding, OYO town hall collections, quality is higher everywhere we see, and we get at a better price. Next day we are about to check out. The rate is low. We say, okay, we'll spend one more day. We reach another 100 kilometer, go and meet the people and come back, use this. We don't find OYOs everywhere in villages and mandals. We can't afford, but we stayed.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Our
We will come.
Please give Ritesh a bigger round of applause. See, this is what your business is. I'm sure each one of your business will. This is the impact he's building.
But I want to share one
Short.
suggestion.
Sure.
Short.
Okay.
Every time we visit, they ask for Aadhaar card. We gave original only. Why so much? You can figure out a feature, get a OTP, sort it out. I really don't want to carry my Aadhaar. It is not because confidential. There is no value here. Kitna times.
I think Balaji, we have less than 2 minutes left, so I'll be very quick. One, thank you so much. You should know that, we at OYO recognize that it is our customers due to which we are able to pay our compensation. So we take due care for making sure that we are genuinely very thankful for customers who choose us. And specifically small businesses. Small business, big part of our customer base. Almost I'd say 30-40% of our customers are small business people traveling from one town to another. To your question, I think ID card is a real challenge, right? Like every time you check into a hotel, you give an ID card, you sign a form. Why do you need to do that in the world of technology? I think there are two issues here. One is we are in the process of developing something which will allow you to make it very easy to digitally check in. But the second is we also will need to, work collaboratively with the local ecosystem, because while the government of the day has no problem with this, we also have to locally, in the local ecosystem of our hotel, also try and have the safety security ecosystem get fully aligned with us. But we are committed to doing this. I think this is in our roadmap. And like yesterday, I stayed at Oyo Townhouse because you said the number 281, Richmond, in Bengaluru. And I had to go give my ID card again. And I was also thinking, I wish I could have just gone straight to my room. So yes, I think this is in our roadmap. We will make sure that, we bring it by. So
Awesome.
Thank you.
A selfie, please, later. Thank you.
As you go out.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Anurag, my birthday is 10th of June. We haven't met, but I just told you. So, Ritesh, I have a startup called upcyclo.com. We are a sustainable lifestyle platform. So we sell everything that is eco-friendly and certified. I think from the statistics, Oyo has roughly about 200,000 plus rooms just in India, right? And you have started providing toiletries, etc., to the customers. So if you are at a 70% occupancy per day, your 140,000 rooms are full. So on an average, if one person is using a toiletry once, they're probably throwing away the toothbrush daily. So what is your roadmap towards, reaching and conferences like this getting free of plastic, perhaps, is my question to you.
I think that's a great question. Your question is about sustainability of the toiletries that
planet,
right?
Sustainability and people. So I'm sure you're doing a lot in people, as I heard, but more so from a planet sustainability perspective.
No, I think it's a very critical question. That I'll just, first off, you should know that we are absolutely committed towards making it more and more green from where it is today. So first thing that we have done is you would see that we have now discontinued our regular bottles, that the same bottle would, new bottle every time. We have put one bottle and we refill it now. So that way we don't have to destroy a lot of the past products. Some places, unfortunately, that doesn't work because it's seasonal, so you can't refill it regularly. There we are considering to bring a new innovation, which will be much more improved, like definitely will not be plastic, but it will be still not at a place where we are very happy, but it will be 40-50% better.
So I will not be asking funds, but I'll be asking business from you then.
We'll talk to you.
Thank
and
you.
We are working on something, I'll introduce you to the right person. We're working on something. That's one of our launches coming up this year. All of you know our product roadmap, it sounds like.
And I must say that in Business World, we, for the last 3 years, do India's most sustainable companies. In November, we do a recycling summit and award. So in our own way, we're trying to bring that consciousness. We'll take one more question. Okay.
Let's take it at the back.
Okay. A quick question from her and both of you there. Mic to her. Okay.
Hello. Am I audible?
At the front, please.
Go ahead. Ask, sir.
Okay. Hi, Ritesh. I also will add the voice to the chorus. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, thanks very much for inspiring so many entrepreneurs. I'm an ex-entrepreneur. I've done my startup stints and now I'm looking for one. So maybe Oyo has a job opening for me. So let me plug myself. And another thing is, long time back, one of my entrepreneur friend, he stayed at Oyo and we had another just chat. And he said, you know what, I'm worried how Oyo is making money because I'm staying at such a fabulous price. I said, don't worry. And don't cut a check for Ritesh. He's doing good. Thank you so much.
Your quick question. Keep your question short.
Actually, my name is Priyanka. So I'm from ABBS School of Management. I don't have any questions as such because I just admired him a lot. You are a kind of inspiration for me when it comes to entrepreneur because we are master students. So when we also have a subject called entrepreneur. Also, we used to give presentations about successful entrepreneur. So I'd like to mention that I have already done 8 to 10 in presentations on you. So we have a teacher also with us. He's present over here only. So basically, I am also from Odisha itself. So it's such a privilege to find out a person who is coming from Odisha. Also, in the year when Odisha is not that much popular in the states and all. So that's why I just want to convey my
Thank
message. So
you.
you are an inspiration for us. It's a dream to meet a personality like you.
Thank you.
Last
Thank you.
question from that gentleman. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So,
ask your question. We can hear
Hi,
you.
Ritesh sir. It's pleasure to meet you. And my name is Anil Avla. I'm currently a IIIT fourth year final year student. So actually my question is, I know that you are a dropout student, right? So most of the successful entrepreneurs were dropouts. So what inspires you to be a dropout? So I'm actually decided not to take a degree. I'm going to graduate by this time next year, but I actually decided not to take degree.
Of course, I'm
Yeah.
not the reason for
I told you, don't blame it on the day.
Look, I think I've always believed that, when I signed the program for the 3-year fellowship, the first line was, we never let university interfere with education. So education is crucial. There are different ways of learning. This is a great place to learn from. Like I learned so much about, when I listened to the questions, I was thinking about, this is interesting that, we are thinking about similar problems, and if broader communities thinking about them. Learning is everywhere. Some people choose it from universities, some not. So I don't sponsor people to,
Yes.
I don't encourage you to drop out. I believe university is a great way to learn. But that said, there are some people who may say that, I want to learn more from the field. So, so my perspective is there is no correlation that if you drop out, you become successful. You have to work hard, and wherever you work hard, you'll be successful.
And yesterday, day before yesterday, when reading this book, Super Founder, he spent so much time doing research, and his short answer to that is people who have PhDs, doctoral, have founded the biggest company. So it is absolutely contrarian to your dropping out. Please, I just want to read the book Super Founder, but you can be, yes, sir. Quick question.
Hi, Ritesh. My name is Jinesh Shah. I head up a small VC fund called Ahimsa VC. We're the first and only fund in India that's focused on the alternative protein and alternative material sector, focused on one of your interests, which is taking animals out of the consumption equation. We strongly believe that this is a great impact and business opportunity massively in it, that India stands right at the center of the global industry in this space. So I'd love to have a chat if I can and get in touch about this.
This is fantastic.
I turned vegetarian last week, so
Fantastic. Anurag, I'm a Christmas baby. I'm born on the 25th of December. So
20th of December.
25th of December.
Good. Yeah. Lord Jesus. Okay.
Thank you.
Last question to you, yes, because I know you, I'll allow you this question. Because Swati and her panelists are here. So
अभी हम लोग जहाँ भी ट्रैवल करते हैं इंडिया और ओवरसीज, तो हमें होटल्स नहीं है, हमें केवल ओयो में चेक करो. तो जब मैं दिल्ली आई सर, मेरा एक्सपीरियंस बहुत बेकार रहा ओयो के साथ, क्योंकि मैंने ना मेट्रो के पास किया था ना, इट वाज रियली, मैंने छोड़ के आई टुक माय लगेज एंड आई वेंट देयर एंड आई सर्च, बट व्हेन आई वेंट टू यूरोप, वहां पे हमने ओला का देखा तो रेट वाज प्रीटी लो.
Oyo.
Hanji, and then it was pretty economic. And then we inquired with the residents how is that hotel. So they said it's fine. So
you are saying some places the experience is very good, some you can improve. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah.
Delhi वाले अच्छे नहीं होते हैं ना. मैं दिल्ली से हूँ. ये तो
we will work to improve each one of them. But मेरा एक सुझाव है, एक hack है. आप हमारे ऐप में जब बुक करें तो उसमें ना आपको रेटिंग्स और रिव्यूज, पहले हमारे रिव्यूज ज्यादा दिखते नहीं थे, आपको सिर्फ रेटिंग्स दिखते थे, हम लेते नहीं थे यूजर से ज्यादा रिव्यूज, हम सिर्फ रेटिंग लेते थे. अभी रिव्यूज आ गए तो उससे यू विल बी एबल टू रीड अदर कस्टमर्स कमेंट्स एज वेल. तो उससे आप चूज करें. आई एम श्योर इट विल बी बेटर, बट दैट सेड हमारा कमिटमेंट है कि हम हर ओयो को और बेहतर करेंगे. एंड वी हैव नो qualms in saying that there are some experiences which are not great today as well. But like other man mentioned, we serve lakh plus rooms. So some places we may still not be fully successful, but we are committed to improve it. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
The next session is again with give Ritesh a big round of applause. Wish him luck for his IPO and stay more oil. But we have another very enterprising company, and I know all the three founders, and I can say all the three founders are Virgos. We have Mr. Akhil Gupta, who's founder and Chief Technology and Product Officer of No Broker. here, and Ms. Swati Rohit, who's the co-founder and CEO of Health Basics, will be in a conversation. So I know while you want to meet Ritesh, please stay in the room and maybe during the lunch break and tea break, meet Ritesh and all other speakers who are here. But for now, please welcome Mr. Akhil Gupta, who's the founder and chief technology and product officer of No Broker. It's a pioneering prop tech company.
A very warm welcome, and he's going to be in conversation with Swati Rohit, co-founder and CEO, Health Basics. They're going to be talking about C2C marketplaces, delivering service, trust, and transparency, combating consumer skepticism with cutting-edge technology. A very warm welcome to both of you. Yes. Can we bring a mic here, please? Swati, why don't you take that mic? I'll bring another one to you.
Good morning, everybody, and so excited to be here today, especially and share a stage with Akhil here. Good morning.
My pleasure.
And both of us actually were just chatting outside and talking about the industries we serve and we come from. So no surprises here, no broker. So not exactly the most celebrated or sexy industry, brokerage, real estate brokerage. And despite all the competition that they entered in 2013, right? And they managed to actually scale to become the first unicorn in the prop tech environment. So a huge round of applause. We would love to start with your journey that brought you to No Broker, starting No Broker.
And remove the brokerage, because if you see the intermediation cost of finding a house, 1 month from owner, 1 month from tenant for an 11-month contract, it makes 18%. 18% is like atrociously high on anything. Like, why will you pay 18% as a brokerage on that particular thing? So that's when the idea struck. So Saurabh, I know for what, 22 years now. Then Amit joined us. Amit is Saurabh's batchmate from IIM Ahmedabad. He knew Amit for 20 years. I know Amit for 14-15 years. And that's when we said, okay, let's start on this. And one thing which I had observed with the technology in, after getting into IT was like, we saw the computers for the first time, or I'll say maybe second time, but we saw the computers with high speed internet. We had fibers at our room, and we could connect to the world. And when we were in IIT from 2000 to 2005, in early years, whenever we had to go to movie, we used to travel. We used to travel to a theater, and then we used to find whether tickets are available or not available. Similarly, whenever we were coming back home for railway tickets, we used to go to CST, VT, and then we used to book tickets. But by the time we were passing out, there were companies like Make My Trip, Book My Show, which disintermediated agents, correct? If you see, there was a travel agent, which was disintermediated. There was a, not an agent, but black karne wale jo log hain, who were selling movie tickets. They were disintermediated by Book My Show and other platforms, which were like not even telling you the availability, but they were also letting you choose the seat where exactly you want to sit and watch the movie. And I think that struck us somewhere, and that's when this idea of No Broker came in. We said, yeah, this is something which has to be done. And this is how we started. In 2013 is when we started. Me, Amit, and Saurabh, we were the three guys. So I just took care of technology product. Amit took care of operations, and Saurabh took care of marketing. And that's how we started. We started and bootstrapped for around 12-15 months. And after that, we raised our first round in 2014.
Thank you, Akhil, for that. And also was wondering, so you hear of a lot of real estate, online real estate platforms, right? what's really like Magic Bricks, a whole bunch like that. So what's really the difference between you guys and them?
So basically, if you see, there is a journey with the platforms also. When technology came, the first thing what technology platforms did was they were just trying to get the supply online, correct? And to get supply online, the best way was for them to collaborate with brokers, with the agent. They said, come on the platform, list the properties. We will get the demand by marketing and we'll close the properties on via brokers. But with that, what happened over the time was it became a channel for brokers to get demand, but it didn't solve the problem for the other side of the party, which is the tenants or the buyers, because finding broker became easier, but finding property, that didn't become easier because all those fake properties are still there onto the platform. You like a property, you want to see that particular property, you connect with the broker and he'll say, sir, ये property तो आज सुबह ही चला गया, मैं आपको कुछ और दिखा देता हूँ. So that with technology, that problem was not solved. There was a problem which was solved, that I could find a broker, but that after 5, 7, 8 years, that never became a problem because brokers are already there onto the street. You can just walk to the broker. And that's when we said, okay, there are two problems. One is identifying the right property where technology can play a lot of role depending on where do you live, where do you work, where does your wife work, where does your kid go to school. We can triangulate and tell you this is the locality. Let's say somebody is just moving from Delhi to Bangalore. They have absolutely no idea of where they should take the property. So that is something which can be done. I can get you the property at the right rent, because you really don't. In Bombay, you will get a property, 2-bedroom house for maybe 50,000 rupees, which will be 1,000 square feet or less than 1,000 square feet. But in 65,000 rupees, you will get a great 3 BHK or 4 BHK in Bangalore. So that is something which people don't know. So discovery of the price, that is a problem. And obviously, why should you pay 18% as the intermediation cost? And that is the biggest difference. Like, we are a consumer facing platform. We work for our consumers. We don't work for brokers. So it's about a platform, consumer to consumer platform, where owners, tenants, buyers, sellers, they come and consummate the deal at a fraction of the cost what they were paying.
Talking about consumer to consumer, could you talk a little bit, because we have a lot of young entrepreneurs here, about the difference between a consumer to consumer and how difficult it is versus a B2C or a traditional business to consumer platform?
Yeah, so marketplace, typically, if you see, there are two kinds of marketplace. If you see Flipkart, what it does, it gets lot of businesses to list their product on their platform, and then they generate demand. People like us go and sell there. So they have to manage demand, and for business side, getting the products, they have a team or they have a way with which these businesses register with them. But in consumer to consumer, just take example of no broker. Swati needs a property in Koramangala, correct? And when she needs it, at that point of time, we should have direct owner listing available, which is in her budget, the place where she likes, or the type of property what she wants. So we not only need to get Swati onto the platform, we also need to get the owner onto the platform, and which is not a business. He or she is an individual like us, correct? So when you are making a B2C platform, you will work with 100 business, 200 business, 300 business, maybe 1,000 business, and you get a lot of supply. But on no broker, if let's say at any point of time, 300,000 properties are listed, they will be by 300,000 owners. So now 300,000 owners and maybe another 600,000-700,000 tenants who are coming and looking for that particular property. So you need to match those 1 million users, 10 lakh people with their needs, correct? As an owner, if I've got a property in, let's say, Rajajinagar, but I don't have a demand on that particular area, that owner will not be happy. Similarly, Swati came and looking for property in Koramangala, but we don't have a property in Koramangala, then Swati will not be happy. So with C2C marketplace, it's extremely important to build the equilibrium, correct? And that is why these marketplaces are extremely tough to build. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. And once they start showing success, then there's a lot of snowballing effect which starts happening, because when Swati gets a house for which she doesn't have to pay 50,000 rupees brokerage, she goes and tell 5 friends of hers who come and start using no broker platforms. And typically, if you see in real estate, we are not like a food delivery app, correct? That we say, oh, I'll give you 25% off and you will order maybe extra pizza. You will not do that, correct? Whatever I say, if you don't need a house, you don't need a house. You will need a house maybe when you are upgrading, got married, you need a house, correct? Your kids have started going to a different school, you need a house. You have got a new job, you need a house. So there are certain events on which there is a need of house. We saying, okay, I'll give you 1 month rent free for if you take a house from no broker. Why will you move? You are already settled. Correct? So that's the difference.
So another thing that I noticed is that once you have your customer on board, right, and they've rented a property, so it's once in a year, once in a couple of years, right? So it's actually, so how do you actually consistently stay in their lives? A lot of the times, you know, businesses that all of us run, we're always wondering that, right? Is it a one-time thing? How do you really build that behavior and, you know, have them engage with you guys and remember no broker and keep coming back to you?
Yeah, correct. So you'll talk about DAO, MAO, and how much of the retention you have. But if you see, no broker, the way it has evolved, it's a one-stop shop now, correct? It's not only the place where you come and look for a property or get a property onto the rent. We catch our customers early. So these people, they'll be passing out from the college, correct? Next year, or whenever they are passing out, they will need their first house, which will be typically a shared accommodation or maybe PG. And as they grow, maybe 6 months, 9 months, 12 months later, they will take a shared apartment where 3 of the people will be staying in 3-bedroom houses. That will happen. As they grow in their jobs, they will take maybe a 1-bedroom house for themselves or 2-bedroom house for themselves. They'll get married, then the requirements will change. The kids will, then family will grow. So maybe from 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, you move to 3-bedroom. After that, you'll change job. So this is not that it's a one-time thing. It happens. And there is a cycle. Typically, it's 11 months. So somebody or for some reason, there is a lot. One of the reasons which I listed, there are a lot of people who are looking for the houses. That happens. And when we get them houses, when we have got rental houses by saving 20, 30, 50,000 rupees of the brokerage, as you grow, after 4, 5 years, 6 years into your job, you look to start buying the house, correct? And that's when no broker becomes a trusted party, correct? People come and they look for property on our platform. So whether it's a resale property, whether you are looking to buy a new property via builders, that happens onto the platform. And then when you are moving, we know when exactly you move, when exactly you are looking for the property. So when you are moving, you need packers and movers. So we help you with packers and mover services. When you are moving out, you need to give your house painted back to the owner. So that we do. Or as a owner, when your tenant has moved out, new tenant is coming in, you need house to be painted. We help you with that particular thing. Once you have got into a house, you need your house to be deep cleaned. You need your bathrooms to be cleaned. You need pest control to be done. All of it is done on no broker platform. And over the time, what happens then when you're staying in that particular house, you need to pay your rents. You need to pay maintenance to the society. So you use no broker financial services to do that. When you are buying house, you need home loans. You get it on no broker. You have to vet the property which you are buying. So all the legal assistance happens on no broker. And then we have a product called No Broker Road, with which we get into the societies, we manage the societies. So all the day-to-day activities of the societies, where there is a guest coming into your society, your maid, your cook, your maintenance bills of the society, you need to book the amenity into the society, your car has to go out, boom barrier has to open automatically, that happens on No Broker Road. So we are not once in a lifetime kind of a platform, but we are in your life in some or the other way. And because we are there in the life of the consumer and we exactly know when exactly the consumer needs that particular service, the cost of acquiring the customer is damn cheap for us. And then that's why we can provide high quality service at the lower cost than the market.
So no revenue from brokers, and maybe you can add a little bit about all your other sources of revenue. I know you covered most of it in this, but a lot gets said about your subscription services, and that was something very different for this kind of a platform. So I think you guys were one of the first ones to do that in the real estate.
Yeah, so basically we changed the way real estate works across the globe, not only in India. If you see, typically in real estate, you finalize a house, whether it is a house for rent, whether it is a house which you're buying, and you need to pay commission to the broker after you have done the deal, which is 18% in case of rentals, 4 to 6% in case of buying or selling of the properties, 2 to 3% from each side. We said we'll not charge you anything. Either we'll not charge you anything, and we'll give you the platform, we'll give you the technology with which you'll be able to do the discovery, you'll be able to list, you'll be able to connect with the people. Please manage, go ahead and manage and use this particular platform. But if you need assistance, like you guys are sitting here, correct? And let's say this gentleman, he wants to give his house on rent. He doesn't want to manage. Okay, we give you 3,000 rupees package. You take that particular package. I'll give you a phone relationship manager, which is again the technology assistance. He will take up the criteria, you will put it onto the app, correct? He'll take up the criteria and he will set up the meetings for you at the time when you need. Similarly, Swati needs a house. She's sitting here, she wants to rent a house. She can tell that phone relationship manager via subscription plan, which is upfront. That is the difference what we brought. We say we will charge you maybe 1/10 of the brokerage or 1/20th of the brokerage upfront with no guarantee that will give you the house. If you need a guarantee, we give you a little higher plan where we'll refund your money. But 75% of the times we get the house. So like out of 100 people who are coming onto the platform, 75 people get house onto the platform. And either they don't pay anything or they just pay pennies to get the house.
That's actually a really high number percentage. So that's amazing. Could you go a little bit into, the number of customers you have? I heard some amazing numbers, that you service and the number of deal closures a month. So
yeah, so we have just touched 2 crore customers, so 20 million customers, if you want to talk in million. 2 crore customers have used our services till date, and on monthly basis, so we are saving brokerages what millions of dollars now. So on monthly basis, we do deals which is close to 50,000-60,000 per month, which out of which there will be around 5,000-7,000 of the houses which are being sold onto the platform without any broker. So approximately you will say 500,000, more than 500,000 deals which are happening onto the platform every year now.
So you guys truly, I read somewhere that you truly don't have any feet on street,
Yes.
no people at all. Is that true?
Yes.
Wow.
So but for very premium set of customers who really want somebody to manage for them. So we have property management services in that particular case, where they pay us like, I think there it will be 7,000-8,000 rupees, which they pay us. And in that case, we have some people who can go onto the ground and serve, but that's very, very minuscule part of our business.
Talking about and going back to, when you actually started No Broker, right? There were a lot of similar and, there are a lot of young entrepreneurs here. So you constantly, when you enter into a new avenue, you already see that there are funded entities. There are lots of people and lots of competition, right? So how did you really look at it, and what did you focus on that really got you through that, the initial first
so there are two answers for this particular question. There is an honest answer, there is a philosophical answer.
We want the honest
so
answer.
let me give you the philosophical answer first. Philosophical answer is that we were extremely adamant on solving this particular problem. We knew it's a big problem, and which is true also, correct? And we were highly focused, and we will solve it. And with this philosophy, there's a nascent, I'll say, you'll say there's ignorance on our part, that we really didn't know that there are so many people who have already raised funds, correct? And when we were in the process of raising funds, at least 3 times it happened that somebody said, okay, we'll just give you the term sheet, and then they backed off. This is September 2013 or August 2013. We were almost certain that tomorrow we'll get a term sheet. But that very night, there was a news that housing.com has raised $100 million from SoftBank. And the person and the VC who was supposed to give us the term sheet, he stopped picking the call. And after that, he said, we think this market will be taken away by housing.com and all. So, but we were very, very focused on solving that particular problem. But the way we have solved this problem, and the way we are solving this problem, I should say that because we are enabling our consumers by putting the money back, because 20,000-30,000 rupees, that's not a small money. If you see our HRAs are 40-50% of our annual salary, correct? And I'm not saying that everybody pays 40% as a rental, but still you pay anywhere between 20-25% of your annual salary as a rent. And out of which, if you have to pay 1 month as a brokerage, that is like almost 2-3% of your annual salary you are paying as a brokerage for nothing. So when we empowered our customer with putting the money back into their pocket, and that is what customer liked. As I was saying, one got a house without paying the brokerage. They were so happy. We have got stories where people have written back, I've just saved 30,000 rupees. Maybe I'll save it for my daughter's marriage, or I'll be able to get something for my kids and all those things. When you save that money, they go and happily talk about you, and they become your free marketeers. And when you have thousands and lakhs of free marketeers for you, obviously your cost of acquisition comes down. And it's a business, correct? If your cost of acquisition is higher, your outgoes are higher, you'll have to charge higher. Because our outgoes are lower, cost of acquisition is lower, we don't have people onto the ground, technology is doing the work. What a human can do, what one person can do, there is a capacity to do that particular thing, correct? But what a machine can do, there's no capacity. You just have to add cores to that particular machine, right? And with the human, with every human is emotionally different. So there is a different way in which he or she reacts to the situation, correct? So how do you give the standard service? So with machine, we give the standard service, we have the scale. With these free marketeers, we are extremely cheap. So our input and output cost, that is very, very low. Hence, our plans are cheaper. What we charge, if we need to charge, that is minuscule of what people are paying to the brokers into the market. And hence the happy customers, hence the no broker.
In your journey from 0 to 1, right? For your first couple of customers, like the lead generation, right? Everybody's always worried, will anyone come to me when I start? What really got you guys through that, and any advice to the young entrepreneurs here?
Yeah, it's tough. So we didn't know how will we get. So basically the critical mass on this particular platform is the supply. Demand I can get online, correct? There are a lot of people, there's a lot of young generation, correct? Everybody is on mobile, everybody is on the app. They go to Play Store, they go to Google and they say property for rent in this area, and maybe we'll rank up there with SEO. But getting the supply was the critical part. And I think we spent a lot of time and growth hacking that particular part, correct? So if you see in India, you'll see two-let boards, because people typically, not only in India, across the globe, people are not happy with brokers because the amount of money what they charge for the quantum of service what they give is disproportionate. So people put that two-let board. So me, Amit and Saurabh, when we used to be on ground, we used to take those pictures, come back home, call the owners, tell them we'll not charge you anything. Obviously, people used to get little too worried that maybe baad mein charge karenge and all those things. But when they really saw, acha, koi charge nahi karenge, list kar dete hain platform. And when the deal started happening, when one gentleman got a tenant on no brokers, he told 3 other owners of friend of that particular, and that it becomes a cycle, and then it becomes a snowball. So that's one growth hacking trick which we used, and we focused. We didn't spread ourselves thin. So even when we speak, no broker platform is only in 6 cities in India. No broker platform is in 12 cities in India. We said we'll go deeper into the market. We'll capture the market first, the cities where we are operating, and after that we'll spread. So I think hyper focus, laser sharp focus on solving a particular problem at one point of time, that has helped us a lot.
You constantly hear in the startup ecosystem, aggressive growth over everything. And I know off late they've been singing a different song, but consistently all 3 of you co-founders have always said slow and steady. So what is your take on that?
This is a cycle. We started in 2013, 2015 was a cycle, 18 you have seen this peak, you have seen it in 21. Every 3-4 years it happens that it's all about the growth. So last time when the cycle downturn came, everybody was talking about cockroach approach, the cockroach strategy, that the way cockroach survives and how no broker and many other companies who are like sane according to us, maybe they have survived. So it's not about and as I said, we are not a food delivery company, correct? I'll tell you, I'll give you a 1 month rent for free. Will you really move? You will not move, correct? There are so many things which are associated with house. You have memories, you have your kids, you have your friends, you have your kids' friends who are there. So it's not that easy. There's a very high inertia in moving, and until you need, you will not move. So it's all about how do you put your point forward? How do you explain the people who are behind you for the growth? If they don't understand the basic of the business, then I think they are not the right partners for you.
And what are some of your recommendations for the kids who are looking at raising funding? So any pointers for them from your journey, because you guys have
See, I don't know whether raising funding is in any way it's a success. Being unicorn in any way, it tells you that you are successful. When you raise money, you have to return that money back to your investors also. Obviously, it's a venture funding, equity funding. You have given your equity. You are not liable to pay that money back to the investors. But if you use that money as your own money, that had you put in that particular money, then you work in a very, very different way. Correct? And that is what we have been able to do. No broker, and three of us are months, they will just use the interest of this particular money to run the company. So this is more like a bunny approach. We'll say three of us are, Anurag was saying, three of us are Virgos and three of us are Agrawals. So I think raising money is not a success, or you should not chase raising money. You should chase the problem. You should chase the solution. And if you are really solving a problem, in a beautiful way where consumers are getting happy, it will show up in your numbers. And when it shows up in the number, you will automatically get money. Like in last, almost 10 years now, 2013, I'm talking about, Indian VC system, VC ecosystem has changed a lot. There are, when we started, maybe there were a handful, half a dozen VC firms which were investing, very, very, I will say nascent angel network investments, which used to happen, no seed funding, nothing, all of it. People typically used to raise from family and friends, and then they used to go to VC round. But the ecosystem has become extremely big now. And if you see across the globe, all other countries, they are looking towards India. There's no other country other than India which can show the growth potential for next 10, 20 years. And people say 10 years. I feel for next 20, 25 years, there's nobody else. So people have to put in money. People are looking for opportunities. India is a very big market, 130 crore people, correct? I'll say we are like 15, 20 countries or maybe 50 countries put together, we are a single market. So that way we have a huge market, huge potential. Our average is around 27, 28 youth, which is coming out of the colleges, who will be solving a lot of problems. So just pick the right problem and solve a real consumer problem. Don't figure out a problem that, okay, I'll invent something because my dog poops a lot and I have to pick it up. So maybe I'll create a robot for that particular problem. That is not a problem. There are hundreds of real problems that exist in India. Solve for those problems. And I think money will follow you rather than you trying to follow the money.
Before we go to the audience, one last question from me. You are front and center of real estate. So what trends are you seeing? Buyer's market, seller's market? What are you recommending to all of us here?
So right 2 years back, July 20, it was tenants market. Owners were struggling to find a tenant. Now it's a owner's market. Tenants are struggling to get the houses on the rent. Good houses get rented on no broker. In how much time do you think? 2 hours, 3 hours. It's not even days. So that's the demand. Typically, if you see Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, all with the IT people moving back, a lot of people moved out of the cities, correct? De-urbanization happened, and again, urbanization is happening to some extent. So that way, it's an owner's market in terms of if you are giving the property out to the rent. If you're looking to buy a property, it was buyer's market to some extent, but if you see a lot of inventory is getting sold out. So now you'll see a lot of new projects which are coming from the builders. Builders have started launching the projects. So very good time to buy a property also, because interest rates are low. Even when it has been increased, they're still low. Like what we are at around 7.5% interest rate, which used to be rate in 2008, 2009, after 2009-10. And after that, it has gone up to 9.5%. So rate of interest is extremely supportive if you're looking to buy a house. And we feel that this is the time. There is a cycle, as I was saying. So this is an up cycle for real estate, be it buying a house, be you are trying to give your house on rent and whatever it is. It's up time.
Over to the audience. Any questions?
Two questions. One is, if I'm a house owner, I take
Sorry,
snaps.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
There are two questions. One is, if I'm a house owner, I take snaps of my house and I put it in the No Brokers website, and then it gets locked. Means that after my house is rented out, even then I can't delete the snaps. So it's like after 3-4 years, once again, if I want to let it out, then I can use the snaps. But if I want to come out, it's not possible.
No,
So that's one.
You can just go and edit the properties and remove the pictures.
It's not possible.
It's possible. Maybe there is some other issue, but if you wish, you can do it. Or if it is not there onto the app, you can always write, and people can remove the picture for you.
Basically, the model is, it is once the house owner goes and puts the snaps, it's locked. So you can't come out. That is one option. I just want to clarify it, if it is so. Second thing is, it is not free for the market to go and check the thing. First 10 customer, I think 10 or
9.
You have 9 thing where you are free, and after that you have to pay for it.
How many real properties do you need before you close the property? If as a tenant, we see lakhs of deals happening. That number is 3.5. So when people look properties smartly, and when they go, nobody wants to see 15 properties, 20 properties. You don't have that particular time. Typically 3.5 to 4 properties is what people see, and they close the deal. So even with the 9 contacts, you are good for next 3 years. And even after using No Broker platform for 3 years for free, I think we deserve that 1,000 rupees or 1,500 rupees which we charge from the tenants. But for your photos thing, you can just write it hello@nobroker.in, and if it is not removed, it can be removed. We can check that also. I'll check with you after this session.
This is Balaji here.
Hi.
We are in electric vehicle space, multi-brand electric vehicle experience stores for small towns and rural market. I was just wondering, is there any time for us to be a no broker kind of it?
No broker what?
Meaning, a marketplace is always like aggregator kind of, no? You charge something. I was just thinking, is there a way where we can also follow a no broker business model for the auto sector side?
And what exactly do you do, sir?
No, we sell electric vehicles in a store where there is no store in tier 2, tier 3.
So today I read in the news, Bounce is selling their vehicle on Flipkart now. Correct?
That's correct. I also heard. But you need registration, everything. You have to visit a dealer.
So Ola is trying to do, but to answer your question, I think going forward, so this hybrid approach will be there. People will
online and also.
Yeah, and if you see, it has happened already. If you see mobiles, people go to the store, they feel, and then they scout for the deal, whether it's better on Amazon, Flipkart, or maybe in the store, and they take it. The similar thing has started happening, and the way the traffic is happening. If you see, in one city, earlier there used to be one automobile showroom, correct? But if you see Maruti or if you see Honda and all, but in Bangalore, you will have 8 or 10 now because of the neighborhood, hyper localities, traffic and all those things there. So I think one thing what can be done is you need to figure out how exactly you can display your product, or how can people feel the product sitting at the home. And there are 2 ways. One is the technology, and another one is the brand recall and the brand experience what others have. Like if you see, for that that particular matter, Kent RO, correct? People know that was, if you need a RO, you need to buy Kent or you need to buy AquaGuard. And I have not seen a store for Kent, or maybe AquaGuard has a store. But from your friends, from your referrals, the way it happens for no broker, if you can create that ecosystem where people have used it, people are very happy with your product. To start with, maybe it's offline, but as you grow, it can be more and more online.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, Akhil.
Hi.
My name is Nimi. I work at GLL. We are
Yes, I know JLL.
so for those of you who don't know, we're a property consulting firm. And for the benefit of the audience here, because largely, I see a lot of startups, a lot of people, who will probably be opening up businesses and require office space and things like that, right? So no broker largely focuses on a B2C market. Right?
C2C.
C2C, yes. But when it comes to, setting up your office space or looking at, do you see yourself going to a B2B market? The reason I'm asking is leasing a residential versus leasing commercial real estate. There are a lot of nuances and, certain expertise. I'd say that only a professional who has knowledge of the market or, has landlord relationships can bring to the table, right? So from that perspective, I just wanted your...
So we do offices also. People can look for shops, offices, commercial space on NoBroker also. But as you rightly said, and this is true not only in commercial, but also in residential. Brokers who are extremely good and add a lot of value, they will stay in the system. It's not that no broker is going to wipe out all the broker, every single broker into the system. And similarly for JL, the kind of value what you add for the bigger commercial leases which are happening, be it getting the deals closed or after that managing that particular property, I think that's a different business. So that's more of a hospitality business what you guys have built after a deal has been closed. And we really don't think that we add value. We are a technology platform. We don't even have presence outside Bangalore. So that is something which we don't do. And I don't think that's our forte also.
Thanks, okay.
Yes.
How would you mention
so that is where
process?
So that is where technology comes into the play, right? If instead of no broker app, if I had, let's say, 5,000 people onto the street who are doing, let's say, I'll not call them brokers, I'll call them no broker agents who are in well-dressed suit and all those things. But as I was saying, there's emotions attached to every individual, the way they work, the way they serve the customer. This is like relationship manager, correct? On these finance sites, your bank relationship managers, all those things which happen, that's very, very different. But when it happens onto the app, all the signals are there with us. Like person A came, what did he do? Whether he looked into this particular property or not, he looked into it, but he didn't close this particular property or didn't even contact the owner of this particular property. We know what is the rent of the property, what is the locality of the property. Now we have the tools with which you know what is the rent going on in this particular platform. So let's say when you are listing the property, you say, I want 50,000 rupees for my 2 BHK. That's where no broker rentometer comes into the place. It says, sir, in this area, the rent is around 28,000 rupees. We will not force you to not put the rent as 50,000 rupees. It's your property, it's your asset. You feel whatever you want to put, but we'll suggest that at this rent, your property will not be able to close. So that transparency which is there. So that is there for the owner and that is there for the tenant also. And if you see, when there is a genuine owner and genuine tenant both, or genuine buyer and genuine seller, if that transparency is there in terms of the pricing, discovery, what is there onto the property, people put. So we have done technology innovations like when you are uploading the pictures of your property, we scan through each picture through our AI algorithms. So if you put your selfie, it will automatically not go against your listing. You will not find properties on no broker with absurd pictures. We identify which is dining room, which is bathroom, which is the bedroom. We associate those pictures. Now we have created a platform internally called Flixer, which automatically ties these pictures of the house along with the neighborhood pictures, and things which are available near you. How far is the hospital? How far is the school? And creates a video out of it, because people love to see the videos with which they can do it. So we use a lot of technology, a lot of data, which we have either via our partners or which is being generated onto the platform, and we enrich the listing discovery process, so that what an extremely good relationship manager would have done for you, which is like, if I have 10,000 people, maybe I'll have 10% of such people. But I am giving that top-notch experience to every single customer of mine using the technology. So that's where a lot of technology comes into play, and we solve those problems.
Hi, my name is Anup Pandey. First of all, fascinating conversation, and I have been following No Broker, and you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
So kudos for that. Now coming back to buyers market, owners, sellers market, another one pet peeve I think for all tenants, specifically in Bengaluru, is with the security deposit. So do you have any plans? Because people, specifically younger people, they don't want to spend 10 months of security
So I
deposit.
think it's a matter of few months is what I feel, because the Model Tenancy Act was passed by Parliament in July 21, I guess. So that has to be implemented by each of the states. And Karnataka's revenue minister, I think I saw an article where he has already said that we are working on it. And as per Model Tenancy Act, you cannot charge more than 3% of the rent as a deposit. So once that comes into the place, automatically that problem will be solved forever.
That's great. Another thing is the young ladies talked about the commercial and industrial space. So that's where you probably will be a different market than your consumer market. But that will be a big help, because when I was running a service startup, so we paid through our nose the brokerage for renting a huge space. So that's
JLL will not like it.
and let me be very clear. We didn't pay to JLL. It was another brokerage. But only thing is that was.
No, but to answer your question, that has been solved. On No Broker, you find commercial properties. I was saying very high end, when you need maybe 2 lakh square feet, 1.5 lakh square feet kind of a properties, which is in a tech park, which is being exclusively managed by one of these top brokers. I'll not say brokers, the property management firms. That's where we don't add value. But if you're looking for a shop, you're looking for a small office, a lot of people are getting it on No Broker. No Broker has commercial properties. If you need a showroom on HSR layout, and if owner has listed it, you can very well get it done on No Broker without paying any brokers.
On the similar vein, for young entrepreneurs who are looking for a one-seater, two-seater shared office, that's also another area that will be a fascinating
It
one.
is there, but I don't know whether how because I think there are 1 or 2 players now. WeWorks, CoWorks, these are the players who are doing it. So they don't need us, and we don't need them. Otherwise, it's possible onto the platform. If you run a co-working space of 100 seats, you can come on list on No Broker, and it can be discovered by people.
Thank you.
Hi, Akhil. Manav here. Thank you for mentioning I work with Bounce. So we are live on Flipkart today. One thing which I wanted to understand was when you guys started, right? I have seen your story, been following you. You started in an apartment, all your employees and everything, right? So one thing which I wanted to understand was how was the resistance from all these brokers, locally, right? So whenever you're entering a new market, there would be some resistance from the local bodies. So I wanted to understand, how did you pass that phase, or how difficult was it? How did you guys manage during this phase?
Again, 2 answers, one philosophical and one honest answer.
Yeah.
So it was tough. That is the honest answer. And when we started in HSR layout, as you were mentioning, in a small bungalow, one fine day, around 50 people came to our office, and they wanted to thrash us, actually. And they wanted to get into the office, and they wanted to break the computers, thinking that nobroker.com is running on this computer and not in the cloud. And we had to vacate that place the very same day. I think these people attacked us, but we were in the police station, and there was a case and all those things which ran for months before the settlement was done. But police asked us to vacate that particular office then and there. And then we moved to the commercial place. And that was a scary part to start with. That night it was very scary because on our call center we are getting the calls that you should just shut it down and otherwise we'll see you and all, and we have those recordings also. But then one of our investors, which is BNext, Teru Satu, he told that this is a real symbol of the change which you are bringing in. This is the disruption what you are creating. This proves that there is a real disruption which is happening, which gave us a lot of confidence. And the next day, when we said, okay, now we'll split the offices, operations will work out of this place and technology will work out of this place. Not a single person out of that 70, 80 people said that I am not coming to the office. All those 70, 80 people, they came back and started working from that makeshift shift office. Like our technology and the product team, we were sitting on the floor for almost 2 months. We could get tables, but people loved working from that particular part out of one of the bungalow, which our fellow friend offered us to work with. That gave us a lot of confidence. To be honest, it was scary. First few days, we had sleepless night. We didn't know what to do. If it is politically motivated, what will happen if these guys come back again? But since then, we moved to a proper commercial building. We got that building without any broker, and we don't put our hoardings anywhere now. Like you'll not see, if we don't tell you where exactly is no broker, you'll not find where exactly is no broker. But that was a real proof point that what we are trying to do is working.
Sir, I just wanted to know that when you started this, why did you select it Bangalore? Why not Delhi?
I was in Bangalore. You see, that's one reason. And we knew from the start that this will be a technology and product play. And being in the industry for 5-8 years, because I was working there, I knew there will not be any dearth of technology talent in this particular city. And we debated a lot. Actually, Saurabh and Amit, they were both in Mumbai. They had to shift. It was easier for me to shift. One person moving to Mumbai and working out of there would have been easier. But we argued, debated a lot, and then we decided that for longer run, we need to be in Bangalore. And that's how we started in Bangalore.
I think if there are no more questions, we'll wrap up. We're right out of time.
Sure.
Thank you again so much for sharing your journey.
Thank you.
With us.
Thank you so much, Swati and Akhil, for spending this time with us and sharing your journey and insights. Ladies and gentlemen, here we will take a quick networking lunch break. We request all of you to please join back at 1:30 p.m. sharp. Also, if you have key insights and learnings that you've taken away from the sessions, don't forget to share it with the world outside this room using the hashtag Unicorn, BW Unicorn Summit 2022. Thank you so much. We will see you right back after the lunch at 1:30 p.m. Have a great lunch.